And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
I don't think I've ever wanted to be in a stand more than my life around there. They're going crazy. Hey, they got penalty here. There'll be fish flying about there. There's no tomorrow.
What a magnificent piece of football! A really, really good goal. You can't make it straight like that.
There'll be none of that this season. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the DN35 podcast. The Mariners had a wonderful chance. Back-to-back home games, one against a bunch of kids, one against a bunch of part-timers. Surely we can put heed to the home form hoodoo. Can we do it? Can we bollocks? We'll do our best to try and avoid talking about that. We'll try and gloss over the fact we can't beat a bunch of 3-year-olds or a bunch of part-timers who are at work on Monday. We'll talk about something entirely different because Bruce is here. And he's got his calendar game at the very least. We can talk about that. We'll talk about Paul Hurst getting sacked from Shrewsbury almost a year to the day when he got given the heave-ho from Grimsby as well. And we'll be talking about the new investors as well who came up as an interview. We are very much keen to hear from you guys as well. And we're not 100% sure how the calendar game is going to go because Richard Young at the last second pulled out, which is not always the safest method. And has completely put kiboshed the calendar, so it might be me, but I like my lofted position as judge, so we might, if you fancy doing it, drop us a line and we'll bring you in. But we're joined by Sam and Bruce to talk about all things town. Goody. Grimsby Town 0, Wealdstone, whatever they're called, 1. There's no FA Cup journey this year. Sam is already unmuted. So I'll go to him. Thoughts on that?
I think we should sack Cartel and bring back Hurst. No, sorry, in all seriousness. It kind of felt like it was coming, didn't it? I mean, we should have been out of sight in the first half, and then the sucker punch became inevitable, I thought, as the game wore on. I mean, you can talk about the kind of, well, let's call it defending for the goal, if you like. I mean, I think Rodgers is awful, but I think you can point fingers at the keeper as well, frankly. He sort of seems to have stopped playing. But it's just so easy to run through, so easy to turn from front to back, which I thought was a feature of our play last season that we haven't really addressed. I said last week that I thought that, well, was it last week? Yeah, last week that I thought it was a quirk that our kind of home form and away form were so lopsided. But given this last week, I mean, you can, if you like, discount the Mickey Mouse, Papa John's, whatever it calls itself, trophy these days, because that is a reserve side. That is a reserve side when we bring on Rose in some desperation at the end. But that was, broadly speaking, our first team yesterday. And in the end, we were not soundly beaten, but certainly we couldn't really have many complaints at getting beaten. So we missed a great opportunity to get through to the next round of the cup. And all of a sudden, the next few games look quite big, don't they? I mean, you say if we lose at Wimbledon, given their recent form, that looks likely. You'd have to say we're under pressure. I mean, obviously, we need to kind of put this into perspective. We're still 10th in the league. We're still only a point off 6th. This is not panic stations yet. But it just seems like our annual mid-season dip around around when the clocks go back is upon us as ever, really. Last year, it ended up with Hursty getting sacked. This year, it's ended up with being dumped out by low position of non-league. I don't really know what to say more than that, other than that and I'm going to talk about Artel's interview and how that was I sort of quite liked what he had to say in his interview actually after the game. Thought it was kind of relatively honest and didn't go into kind of platitude bollocks as sometimes it does. Talking about Wilson's lack of appetite for the battle, or generally our problem with second halves. What do you guys think? Do you think we've got a problem with the second half? Do you think we've got a problem at home?
Sam, do you think, as the host, I will ask the questions.
So I was just putting you out there. Sorry, mate.
Sam's very excited, Bruce. What were your thoughts? I'll be honest. You know, you can lose in the FA Cup. It happens. You can, and a quick glance at that game would suggest that we lose in the last second of the game. But this wasn't a performance we would have easily expected in the National League. We wouldn't always beat part-time teams, but even when we drew, say, at Weymouth away, and which frustrated fans, we did it in a way where we were asking questions of them consistently. Yesterday, second half, was one of the most embarrassing performances for a few years, wasn't it?
It wasn't very good, mate. And it almost got to the point where we were going to the pub afterwards. I encouraged, because the ticket pricing was good. Fair play to the club and to Wealdstone. I thought that, I said from the start that I thought it needed pricing right, and I think that £15 and £1 for kids was spot on. And so I encouraged Maisie's football team to go. There were 9 of the girls went. So Wealdstone, the old big, I know it wasn't a big crowd yesterday, but we always used to be shit when we sold cheap tickets, didn't we? And we got loads of people in, and come to the game. So there was about 8 or 10 parents, and there was another 9 girls or something, and it was dog shit. It was just awful. I didn't enjoy any part of the game after about 20 minutes. We started off okay, I thought. I thought that I was very surprised that Danny Rose, the hero that he is to the fans, or to some of the fans, didn't step up and take that penalty. If you're a penalty taker and you back yourself, there's not many penalty takers that have not missed penalties. So for him to have missed one and then not have the next one, I just thought, you're the captain, go and take that penalty and stick it away this time. So that disappointed me, and I thought Obikwu just tried to place it too accurately. And then, has anyone seen that? Just sort of going off on a tangent. Has anyone seen the penalty again?
Yeah, it's hit with no conviction, is it? As you say,
right? Was the rebound? I think it was Denver Hume. That looked a really good chance to get a rebound on target. But can he touch the ball when it comes back off the post, or does the keeper? I was thinking about this last night. Does the keeper have to have touched it? Can we not touch it again?
I believe that's right. The ball's only in play if the keeper set before when an opposition player has touched it. So if it gets cleared and their lad makes a mess of the clearance and you put it in, that's allowed. But don't think you can rebound it straight off the post and in. That used to be the rule. I don't know if they've messed around with it recently.
I thought I'd seen a penalty somewhere once where a player nudged the ball to the side on the penalty spot and another player ran in and scored. But
you're thinking of Robert Perez. Yeah, Robert Perez and Thierry Henry at Highbury.
And was that a goal?
No, they fucked it up.
No, right, but is it illegal? Because if it wasn't, Denver Hume's effort that he sliced into the pontoon looked like a really good effort, a really good chance on the rebound. I don't know if you saw it on the telly or not, but yeah, we huffed and we puffed, and we just seemed to be. We were chatting in the group, and everyone was quite sort of, the new investors, and I know everything's not an overnight thing, and it doesn't happen, but bloody hell, we just seem to have one step forward and then we take one step back, don't we? Whether it's on the pitch, not off the pitch, but you have a little bit of good news, and the 2 new guys come, and there's a really good interview that I think they did with Scott, and then we do that, and it's just boring, isn't it? We just give it just. I know it takes time, but it's just. Would
you like me to give you a list of the teams that Wealdstone have beaten so far this season?
No, thank you.
Because it was Fylde 1-0 at home. They had 1 shot on target, and there were no other shots on target all game. They then beat Braintree 3-2 with 3 shots on target, and then they've beaten us. So both Fylde and Braintree came up this year, so their teams around where they are. They'd beaten 2 teams so far this season, and then they came to Rundle Park. Were we guilty of not taking them seriously? If Danny Rose is giving the ball to Obikwu to, G him up, shall we say, to take it, are we not taking that seriously? And have we been hoisted by our own petard?
Sorry. No, you go, mate.
Rose never seemed like a player who lacked confidence to me, so it doesn't strike me as a kind of so I would be surprised if he'd kind of gone, oh, I've missed one, I don't fancy it, given he took one and scored on Tuesday night, whenever it was. So there is something in that, Alex. I think we've basically thought, oh, little old, subconsciously even, this little old Wealdstone will get past this. I mean, I'll be honest, I was thinking that. I think I put in the chat, didn't I, say, I know we're going to get through, don't worry about it. And the kiss of death struck again. But is that sort of? Do you think we underestimated them? I mean, there's underestimation, underestimating, isn't there? I understand why Rose has done that.
I don't think, given our home form, that we should either subconsciously or deliberately underestimate anybody. That's ridiculous because, and I just thought, and I just think that penalty was such a big moment in the game. I mean, that they appealed hotly that it was outside of the area, the initial contact. But if we'd have scored that, we'd have won the game. At that point, we were on top. But just the second half, the subs that we made. I mean, I've seen people laying into Svan Thorsen. I know he got brought off, but he looks devoid of confidence, or the little bits that you see of him are sort of fleeting, sort of goes missing in games that either we don't get the ball to him or he doesn't go and get it or whatever. And I just think that we've got players that just, despite where we are in the league, they're just at home. They look like they've got a weight around their necks. And I don't think, there's not a lot of atmosphere at Bundle Park, and there wasn't yesterday again. But people don't start off moaning. It's not, people don't moan. Well, some do, and but I guess not many.
What's their atmosphere that they need? There's 3,000 there yesterday. There's 7,000 at other games. I don't think Blundell Park is any worse. I don't think Grimsby fans are any worse or any better. They're certainly more damaged than most football fans. But I don't necessarily think we have a negative thing. They were right to be beat off. The players fucked it yesterday. I'm very much of a thought that I've seen enough this season where they're doing the right things. We're a point off the playoffs. I've seen quite a lot of overreaction, but yesterday that is a bollocking. That's a kick up the arse sort of defeat. That isn't an art. You do the arm around the shoulder from the Walsall game and everything, but that one's you have absolutely embarrassed yourselves and the fans, and you've humiliated this club with that sort of stuff. You need to pull yourselves together, and it's one of those where I don't want Mike Bassett with 2-0 down to the fucking Mexicans, but it's not far off that, is it?
I just thought we just didn't. I think on the pitch, when we're struggling, we lack leadership. We lack somebody that is going to. I don't think we're very vocal on the pitch. I don't think we just seem like so quiet, and I mean it's a big. I didn't even realise yesterday, but Thompson came on, didn't he? I didn't realise at the time. I didn't realise he was on the bench. If I'm honest, I was in the bar having a drink. We observed the 2-minute silence in the bar. I didn't get out quite quick enough, so I didn't realise. I hadn't seen the teams or anything. But yeah, that's good news because I think he's a leader, and I think we've lacked. We've missed him this season. So hopefully he's coming back towards fitness because he made a big difference to us at the end of last season. And I think it'll be good to get him back in because I just look around the team when the chips are down, we're all right. While we're like at Tranmere, bodies on the line, we had something to protect. As soon as it's wrong or awry, we just seem to crumble, don't we? We should have been out of sight yesterday. I think I haven't seen it. I sort of switched off to a lot of that. I didn't look at Twitter or anything last night after the game. I went and drowned my sorrows and I had a good night. But it was just the players just didn't, like you say. I did hear that he said that they didn't take the responsibility, and you could see in the area tippy tappy, and you're like, get it, shoot. You've got a great chance to shoot, and you're looking and you're not confident. And I just think we lack a bit of a backbone. And it's not that long ago since we said that we were defending like, what did he say, AC Milan or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, Arrigo Sacchi would be proud, wouldn't he?
Bruce, a few weeks ago that the first goal in our game is going to be important. I didn't think it'd turn out to be quite as important as it has been. Apart from Milton Keynes, when we last week when we lost, I think the first goal in the game has always led to the and that has then been the end result, hasn't it? I think so. So as you say, that's kind of proves that we're good at holding on to a lead. We don't piss many things away, but we're also not very good at recovering. I've got an answer, by the way, to your penalty question. It's the penalty taker can't score if it hits the post, but another player can.
So Denver Hume's chance, I need to see that again then, because it looked like a decent opportunity when he came back out to him.
Yeah, Hume's chance was genuinely legitimate. Yeah.
Thank you. You're just the sort of voice that I need describing that to me. You sound, his chance was legitimate. Yeah, that's good, because I would have just said, yeah, he was all right, mate. Yeah.
Play on.
Yeah.
What? So, can I ask you both? I said it with a bit of tongue in cheek yesterday on the old Twitter account, now known as X. Was Fenty right? Does a strength and conditioning coach do fuck all? Because is he picking up a wage that he isn't earning? Because our seasons in second halves are dreadful. Is this the easiest job in the world? Our strength and conditioning coach? Don't do it.
Or is he doing too much with them in the week that they're knackered on us?
He's panicking. He's trying everything.
Are we doing too much? You know, Greg's got on running from the training ground back to Bundle Park on a Friday afternoon when they've done a week's training
via Louth.
Yeah.
So really, are you asking, is he idle or incompetent? That's not a great question to be posing to somebody, is it?
I'll be honest, I wouldn't want to be him on a Monday morning every week at the moment. I
always think that's a feature of the fact that it all goes back to pre-season, that sort of thing, and Artell was very open about the fact we focus an awful lot on the ball stuff, and there are trade-offs to that, aren't there? And I suspect as a result of that, having focused all about possession stuff, we've neglected kind of sort of the hard yards, run up and down the line. And someone like I was on a podcast I listened to ages ago. It was a Premier League, like an ex-player who said, when you're not fit, it's talking about missing a pre-season. It's often very hard to actually get yourself fit throughout the course of a season if you've not been through that process of pre-season, like properly match fit. So, I feel harsh throwing Greg under the bus for that, Alex. To be honest.
Well, maybe it's not, but they're a part-time team. They should be nowhere near the ascendancy in the second half. Surely, these are guys that are having to clock in at 8 o'clock on Monday morning. They've had to travel up north, most likely on the day. They haven't been able to spend the night in a posh hotel posh Premier Inn, like we do. They come up and they're the only team that are fighting for it towards the end. It was, I don't. Old Artell said it was to do with their confidence.
Mindset. It's a mindset. It's a mindset issue, didn't he? That was
it doesn't help when your manager's hanging you out to dry like he did to Donovan Wilson.
So we're saying that we're saying that we're physically and mentally weak. Then this is not boding well.
And everyone's injured.
But we are, aren't we? We're saying that we're mentally weak or we're not strong enough, and we physically seem to tire, and we have done all season 65, 70 minutes.
But how are we mentally weak when we put in the performances like we do against Gillingham and Tranmere as well? They're just a completely and utterly baffling set of team members.
It is. Any psychologist studying our team you'd think they were absolutely off their heads, wouldn't you? Because you'd get they'd be coming to you one Saturday or one Wednesday or one Sunday, and they'd be saying, "Oh, these lads, they're absolute bunch of battlers. They're absolute, just they're so tough." Like you say, after the performance we were putting at Gillingham and Tranmere, good examples. And then you've got the second half capitulations against, was it MK Dons and Walsall?
Yeah,
Doncaster,
Wealdstone.
Doncaster wasn't a second half capitulation. Doncaster was a first 10 minutes capitulation. We actually drew the second half 0-0 against Doncaster when we were down to 10 men.
Does he need to do a Slade? Maybe the dressing room's too warm. Maybe they're all coming out drowsy.
Do you think that's what it is?
Keep them on the pitch.
Keep them on the pitch. Oh, that's a good idea, Bruce. We've got the main stand's been renovated. Why don't we just sit? You can sit them behind at half time behind the dugout because those seats never get used.
But they'd be desperate to get back on the pitch with all the barracking, wouldn't they, from the main stand?
You say those performances though, Alex, and then Bartel listed in his kind of list of crap hope second half performances, he listed Tranmere and Gillingham in there. So he said in his interview, he said we didn't play well in the second half at Gillingham or the second half at Tranmere.
We never offered anything, but we defended resolutely and we came away with the 3 points. I thought it was a professional performance.
Whether we should prove a point or but it was a very. He comes out with these bizarre interviews, doesn't occasionally? Not to say bizarre, like very distinct interviews from time to time. Does Artel?
You're in this. Sam's starting to get into an Artel out position. Have you heard?
He's absolutely under.
He's positioning himself, isn't he?
That is not. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying they're more revealing than your average managerial interview, and you don't often hear managers come out and say we've got a mindset issue and Donovan Wilson's got a performance anxiety problem. You do not often hear managers coming out and throwing players under the bus.
I've until yesterday, I've not really felt sort of disillusioned too much because I've been quite lucky. I went to Tranmere and I went to Carlisle. All right, I've missed Salford and Gillingham in between, but I feel like I've seen us win a bit. But if you only go to home games, you are going to be getting fed up because we're just in an awful run of form at home. And we don't play at home. We don't play at home again until the 22nd or 23rd.
We've had 3 years.
20.
Well, no, we'll be fair. 3 years. So you've had that Hurst season when we got promoted, when we won what, Bruce? 3 games up until the last 4 or 5 games at home. When we then did that last season, obviously just shite. And then you started this season. So you're not getting value for money, are you?
We had a little bit of a run.
We have a little bit well at home.
Yeah, I was just going to say that we did. Yeah, and we couldn't win. And we couldn't win away, Sam.
No, and now we've completely inverted that, and the season's gone about face, hasn't it? I stand by my position. We're a random side that we're going to have these conversations, and we're going to win at Wimbledon next week, and we're going to be back in the playoff positions, and it's going to be all we're going to go to beat Bradford in the playoff final, and
Bradford aren't making the playoffs.
Well, it's the first side who popped into my head, but
I just think. Sorry, just one final thing. Don't you think that the coaches are probably sitting with a coffee and a biscuit before on a Monday morning, and they're having exactly the same conversations that we're having?
I'll tell you something. If they're having biscuits, they should be allowed. What kind of biscuits should the coaching staff be allowed on Monday? Because I'm thinking
custard creams.
Tesco's own digestives or whatever.
Plain digestives.
Rich tea with a mug that is too small to dip the rich tea in without having to nibble the end. That's where they are at.
I think our coaching staff are probably managed to break it so it go in.
I've broken somebody else. It'd be the sort of person. One of our players. I would imagine it'd be one of these things where our player slips on an errant rich tea biscuit and flies into a wall. I kind of put this out being devil's advocate yesterday, and just to wind the WhatsApp group up, but Ross Cook brings it up. Sorry, but Rose doesn't score enough goals for a striker. In Jan, we need to sign an out-and-out striker that can score. Rose does the donkey work, but we need something else. And this is something I kind of put tongue-in-cheek into the group yesterday. Harvey Rodgers has only scored 1 less goal than Rose this season. For all the adoration he gets, he's been given a new contract. He didn't step up to take the penalty yesterday. Is he hiding amongst the bushes?
No.
I think he should have taken the penalty. I said I can't understand that. I don't care what the game is. I don't care what you're trying to do for your confidence. If you're a goal scorer and you play up front, then you should be a selfish bastard in my eyes, and you should want to score every goal. I was a bloody shitty defender in shitty Sunday League team, but anybody, if you had a chance to score, you'd take it, wouldn't you? I managed to get myself on penalties, and I was never giving them away.
No,
You know,
Why
if you take the penalties at any level, if you've got an opportunity to score, why wouldn't you? I don't understand it.
In my head, I'm thinking that the guy is trying to be a captain and doing captain material. He scored one against Man City, so he's not really got that onus of I've got to get the next one and put it away after missing one at Warsaw. But he's then gone, I'm going to give it to Justin. He's going to get off to a flyer and he'll bully them for the rest of the day. Do that at 3-0 up. Don't do that at 0-0. If you're the main penalty taker, you take it, because it looked foolish. And all credit to Wealdstone. They brain treed us. It's nice to have that again to remind us of what non-league is and why we shouldn't take Football League 2 for granted. But once again, a nondescript part of London wins by a goal and goes off with 3 points. And thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
We were sat in the upper yesterday, and somebody shouted across at me that they thanked them for coming. But that was Kev thinking even Kev was thinking these are Tim Pot. We need to thank them for coming. But yeah, I'm thinking that maybe that now we announce it at the end after the final whistle. We announce the attendance, and then
apparently
if we've beaten them, go on.
Apparently, Mike was saying that they thank them for coming before the game starts, before you're out of the bar.
That's sneaky, isn't it?
Well, they know where you are.
You've rattled them, Bruce.
I can imagine Bruce stood there during the 2-minute silence, just slowly, without trying to be noticed, taking another sip of his pint. Just make sure nobody catches him.
It seemed really early, didn't it? You know, because I think it was for Trevor Weinmark and because we're not at home. This even though it was the second, it was the nearest game, wasn't it, to the 11th? So yeah, but
Ben,
no, I didn't realise it was happening.
Yeah. Ben says, sorry lads, just absolutely fuming from wasting another 16 quid. Freezing man knockers off. Even after spending 15 quid on a town scarf. I'll be honest, Ben, you're using the town scarf wrong. That's not what it's for. I don't understand what you're trying to use it for. But
I've got some old scarf. You know, when you used to go to away games and you'd hang your scarf out the window. Did they do that or you too young for that?
That's probably in the
80s. You'd have your scarves. You'd have your scarves flapping out of both back windows.
Do people not do that still?
No one does that now.
I think we should bring it back.
You used to be able to go down the motorway on a Saturday on your way to a game, and you'd overtake a car that had got a blue and white, and then we would then look. You know, is that Huddersfield? Right, we're at Huddersfield today. Oh no, they're at so and so. They'll have gone down the A1 or whatever. No, it's not Huddersfield. Oh, we're a Wigan, you know, or whatever. It used to give us a little bit of a game on the way to.
We could have read Carlisle.
Non-stop entertainment and your journeys, isn't it, Bruce?
No, Alex, we used to do this. When we saw team coaches going the other way, I'd say to my dad and auntie where they're going, and so no, you won't go that way. They'd go M40, M6. Well, why would they be on the M1? So yeah.
Now you'd say, I hope they're not going to that restaurant that we went to, auntie, wouldn't you? That was crap, that one. We're going the right way. But I'm talking in the days before mobile phones and entertainment, Alex. I'm old, aren't I? Anyway, can I move us briefly onto a lighter note, just away from the game. I'm going to take you back, Alex. You're involved in this. I want you to tell me about the Keelby felt making day that you attended. In November 1995. Turn that shitty music off. Listen to this.
So out of 9.
Right. This guy is our podcast leader, right? And this made news headlines in Keelby. Felt making day. At the recent felt making day at Keelby Library, youngsters who attended the event were Ben Larder. He sounds a bit like Ben Laden, doesn't he?
Ben Larder, Ben.
Alex Green.
That's me.
Haley Wood.
Oh, Haley Wood, yeah.
Gemma Logan. Benjamin Griffiths, Adam Smith.
That's
the Adam Smith.
That's the Adam Smith as well, who runs
And
our
now he's making a football club, and he was making felt in 1995. Right? Emma Bailey.
I assumed you meant the right-wing economist.
God, there's a long list of names: Emma Bailey, Lucy Dabb, Jennifer Paps.
Yeah.
I bet she had some good nicknames when she was old. Nicola Dennison, Danielle Goodhand, Stephen Parker, Shane Hazard, and David Chapman. All materials and equipment were provided. The event was organised by Jan Healy, the Lindsay librarian for young people, and the tutor who taught you how to make felt was Lynn Jenkins from the Hecklington P Room near Sleaford.
I don't remember this.
There you have it.
I thought there was some scandal, like they'd broken set fire to the library or something.
Alex was making felt, mate.
That's where I got this jumper from.
He's making felt.
You were a big kid, weren't you?
You can't say that.
Unbelievable. It's 2024, Sam. Oh, you can tell Kemi's now in charge of the Tories. Woke's gone out the window, isn't it? You fat fuck.
Was that your
all these fat kids?
But the only problem is, right, I'll tell you how this came about. I being the geek that I am with the account, I've subscribed to the National Newspaper Archive for a month. And you can find obviously all sorts in there. And I just thought before the podcast, I was just looking for some old town stuff. And I thought I will put your name and Keelby in because I don't know where Sam comes from. We're gonna get that out of him in a minute. And I thought I'll put Alex in. But the only problem is you've got the same name as the bloody Village Green. So everything that ever happened on the Village Green came up.
You could put my dad's name in. You'd probably find loads.
Hang on, I might not have finished with you yet.
Okay.
God. Oh no, that's the felt making day. That's in the Market Raisin Weekly Mail.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, it'd be in the Market Raisin Mail. That was the local paper.
Oh, there's houses for sale with Jackson Green and Preston. That's no good. That might be your only appearance.
So the only times I remember I was in the paper is I won a kilo of chocolate. And I had to go into the Telegraph office.
Sam, don't say it. Don't say it.
I wasn't going to.
Still getting through it. And there's a photo of me. There was a photo of me in the paper. Because didn't they used to have a Telegraph archive where you could go through all the old photos?
Oh, don't. The Telegraph's photo archive, now that we are with that, is it Reach?
Yeah.
We've inquired about the town photos that are in it and how good it would, because they've got the best collection of photos going back over 100 years, for the club. They're all in storage now near Watford.
We can go get them.
Yeah, we could ram raid the storage. Then we'll get Sam in the paper.
Oh, do you say they're in Collinsdales?
In where?
There's a place called Collinsdales. I went there for my dissertation. I had to go get some stuff from the newspaper archives. We'll go, Bruce. It's not far from Boreham Wood. When we get relegated, we can make a weekend of it.
I can't believe that's the only time you're in there. Come on, Sam. Tell us where. Let's all look for Sam. Let's all look for Sam. Was you Sam or Samuel when you were younger?
Yes.
Ben says Telegraph is an archive website, and there's a photo of me as kids standing with ballerinas somewhere. I think that's the website I think of, Ben, and it's gone. I can't find it anymore.
Alex, where did Sam grow up? Was it Goole? No. Sam, where did you grow up?
The 1950s.
Come on, we don't want to answer your address.
I'm not being helpful here. I'm going to be difficult.
I'm just putting Samuel Barrick. There can't be too many of them in the country.
I'll be honest.
There's one of you. There's one of you here, brown nosing a politician.
Oh, Alan, let's get that one up.
Bloody hell! You see, just Google. Yeah, no.
I'm slightly worried if you. I don't know. If you Google me, I don't know.
Court appointments. Oh no, that's George Barrick.
Here we go.
No. Oh, hang on. Samuel Barrick, nephew of James Barrick, went to Leeds to vote for his uncle, who was always Liberal.
It's not me. My uncle's not called James.
Nor is he Liberal.
It doesn't matter. This was in 1880, but it doesn't matter. It sounds good. Here we go. This is like Back to the Future. It's like Back to the Future. This Samuel Barrick, nephew of James Barrick, went to Leeds to vote for his uncle, who was always a Liberal, but he promised him no expenses. Would you?
That sounds right.
No expense spared. Yeah, thank you, Lord.
You'll have
The
to
president at this stage said he now had to announce the termination of the inquiry. But before making
If you
the announcement, Barrick disappeared, not to be seen again.
Richard says we need Mike back to drag the podcast back on track.
Right. Anyway, apologies for that. I thought your felt making.
Thank you for taking me down memory lane.
Drag us down rabbit holes, Bruce, is phenomenal.
Hey,
That's the only word I can think to describe it.
We're chatting shit, but we're not talking about that shit anymore, are we?
If you type in Alex Green defense, I'm the second person after a bloke who used to play for Stevenage Borough, and there's a picture of me at the bottom.
Oh man.
But that's about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry about that. I just thought it was getting a bit heavy with talking about Town repeatedly.
Thank
we
you,
do have the same conversation every other week, don't we? And we've had it the last
every other week.
Only
when we play at home.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Every
Well,
other
next week, when we've won at Wimbledon and we've had the biggest pod turnout in history at the game,
I haven't got my ticket yet. I've not got my ticket, and I can't buy it online.
One of my mates he's got a spare ticket, and he said, "Oh, I've got a spare ticket. Do you know anyone that wants one?" And I'm like, and he lives away, lives down in Swindon. And I said, I thought about you guys because I thought you'd have to pay for postage, and I'd try and sort it out. And he went, "Oh, my brother's got it in Grimsby," and I'm like, "Oh, well, no, that's not then," because I decided yesterday after that shambles that I'm not going on Saturday.
No, come on, you got to come on that.
Come on, we're gonna have a big pod day out.
Where Sam doesn't talk to any of us.
He came to meet us last time we went to Wimbledon for a bit, and then he went for tea with. Oh no, was I in the pub when you had tea? No, we were in the pub with you when you had tea with Auntie Lunch, weren't you? Weren't we?
No, we'd been out for lunch beforehand, and then we've joined you at the pub. We joined.
That was tea with Auntie Lunch.
Don't tell me that, Simon. Apparently, Wimbledon tickets are sold out. Don't tell me that. I haven't seen anything of the sort.
They were about 27 quid, weren't they? They won't be sold out.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to try again. I'm going to bring the lad as well, which will be quite good. Log in. No, that's Mariners TV. I need to. Okay, why are you logging in from here and not Bordeaux?
I think we've talked about it, haven't we? I know. Mike would have dragged us back, but I feel like I've talked enough about it and got mad enough, and
we were shit. It's just people are over the top. Like, move on.
It's just on repeat, isn't it?
Shall we talk about the annual demise of Hursty?
What I don't understand though, before we just move on to Hurst, is why are people so over the top with it? We're 1 point off the playoffs. It's not perfect, but what are people expecting? Is it just because they haven't seen us win at home?
Social media, mate. It's not a football issue. It's not a Grimsby Town issue. It's not a football issue. It's a society problem. You see it in whether it be with politicians, you see it whether it be musicians, you see it with anything. There's this kind of social media because of the kind of limited characterization, the kind of hit and the kind of what would you call it? The sort of instant reaction you get with it. It lends itself to hysterical, outlandish takes that manifest themselves as kind of really up and down. I mean, next week I said we'll win at Wimbledon and everybody will be like, we're going up. And that is all a result of social media because there's no opportunity for kind of reflection. It's why it's a good thing we do this on a Sunday evening because we've all had time to kind of process it and we've got longer to articulate our thoughts in a kind of more measured manner. Social media does not lend itself to that, and it's the first thing everyone looks at. So that's why there's this perception of hysteria every week.
Ben says, saw you on the bus at the Milton Keynes game, Bruce. Nan's got a town history question for you next time we see you. So you've got a question coming your way. Mark Worrell blames the budget and Labour. I'm sorry, Mark. That's not what.
It'll mean fewer of you can afford. It'll mean fewer of you can afford. No, fewer people. There'll be less money to go to town games now.
He tried his best, bless him.
It's all right when you're making a political point, but not me.
Right, Sam. Let's talk about Hurst before we humiliate you with budgetary stuff. Paul Hurst sacked by Shrewsbury Town, has done very little there. I was surprised he jumped up. I thought he's done an incredible job for us at times, but it feels almost like the football has left him. What are all your thoughts, especially you, Sam, because you are, you're a little bit in love with Paul Hurst.
I'm far more kind of been having this conversation this time last year when I was basically going through a borderline grieving process over the decision to sack him. The reality is I've made this point before on the podcast, I've made it before on Twitter, that as you said, the game's moved on from Hursty. I mean, if you look back at his last year in particular, whether it be the first 20 games of us last season, or then Shrewsbury, even at the end of last season, they only just stayed up and then started this season. His record is abysmal in the last year. And even actually, this is me saying this, if you take that freak season at Shrewsbury out of the equation, his record in the league generally is not great. Which I think you have to kind of look back and think, is he a bit like a lot of our players? Is he like Nathan Arnold? Is he like Podge Hammond? Are these his players he's assigned who are good enough to get you out of the conference, but aren't really good enough, and maybe good enough to sort of sustain you in the bottom half of League Two? But is he not much more than that? And I do think now this kind of age of eye tests for players being a kind of thing of the past. I think the move to more possession-based football that fans have demanded in the sort of social media age, it means the game's passed him by a little bit, and it'd probably do him some good, honestly, to spend some time out of the game, watch a lot of football, and come back with a slightly different approach, because it seems to me that the sort of game's moved on beyond Hursty. I mean, his time was up with us, and his time looks like it's been up with Shrewsbury for a while. I was reading some replies to tweets a couple of weeks ago, and it was just absolutely, there wasn't even a me in there defending. It was just tweet after tweet after tweet after tweet saying this bloke's lost the plot, he's got to go.
Do you think we're still? Do you think? Sorry, Sam. Do you think we're still left with? We're still left, aren't we? With some. He got given the best budget that we've had in recent times, if not the best budget we've had, when we got promoted, and
he spaffed it on Harvey Rogers and a 3-year contract with Vernon. Yeah,
we're still left.
I can't believe Harvey Rogers.
We've still got Rakeel Pike, Wilson, Rogers. Vernon, who bless him's never on the pitch. Artell is still suffering, and it's difficult. But managers have got to be given a bit more time than we would always like to give them. And to be fair, we on here, I was ready for us to move him on when we were on that awful run in the conference. By the end of it, I felt like he couldn't continue, but the owners stuck with him. And that proved right, and that's why there's I've not heard anybody sensible talk about sacking Artell or anything like that, but that's why I think he will be given plenty of time, because he's got to get his whole team of his own players in, because I would imagine that's quite a chunk of budget that we're wasting effectively on probably he doesn't think aren't good enough, but he's got to try and get a tune out of them.
Sure, because even next season, you've still, in theory, got Rogers and Vernon in the building, who are Hurst's players. Now, I like Charles Vernon, but honestly, a 3-year contract for him when he's going to spend more than half of it on the treatment table is bad business. And I've made an effort in recent months and weeks and months to not kind of publicly and single out players, but I've kind of had enough with Harvey Rogers. The number of games and goals we concede that are a direct consequence of him being crap, I've sort of drawn the line with. I think, again, it was very poor from him yesterday. And that's a sad indictment of where Hurst's judgment was at by the time he left it with us. I think if you look at the signings last summer, I think he made 12. Like, 10 or 11 of them that he played with before. Now, I don't think anyone ever accused Hurst of being lazy. That was never something, but he certainly got into a comfort zone with the signings he was making. And that happened again this summer, if you look at some of the signings he'd made at Shrewsbury. So that goes back to points about basically
sooner or later
the players.
Sooner or later, Alex Rodman can't run. Sooner or later.
He signed Toto for the 4th time or something this summer. And
Podge
John Nolan.
Podge and Holborn have just finished joint top scorers in the Irish League. On 14, Podge and Patrick Holborn.
And that shows exactly why the Irish Football League is the creme de la creme of football on the British Isles.
See, I'm not rerunning this. We shouldn't have sacked Hursty debate. That's been and gone, and I was wrong at the time. I just couldn't see it. The case is whether Hursty's still a league manager, and I think the question is whether he ever really was.
I think Mike stuck up for him on the group more than you, Sam, hasn't he? This last few days, Mike thinks he's still got miles in him.
Yeah, I think Mike
was touting him for a championship job now.
I don't see it in the league. I really don't see who in the league is going to take who doesn't know him. He only got the Shrewsbury job because of the kind of.
He'll go to Boston, won't he?
I think his stock's a bit higher than that. I think he's good enough to get a top end conference job. Go to an older.
It's still a National League job, isn't it?
Are they part time or are they full time? It's a lot. I suppose it's Boston's.
Well, against us, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'd like to think he sort of rebuilt his career before. When he came back to us the first time, his stock was pretty low, hadn't it? Even though he'd been in the basket cases at that time of Ipswich and Scunthorpe. I don't think he got another league job other than us at that time. So, but I suppose he's a few years older now. He's going to have to do something different if he's going to rebuild his career. But I'd like to see it happen. But we've moved on from him.
Yeah, actually, Mark, Ireland is still part of the British Isles. It is still a classification geographically of the location. I'll just put that out there. I don't want to be a dick, but
Alex, why can you put in that place the Last of Summer Wine music? That was good. That would go well. While you're talking about it.
What would you prefer? We could do that, or we could do this one. The British Isles are a location of the islands around the western coast of Europe, if that helps. Not the Maldives. Sam, anything else you want to add before we can go on to our distraction?
I've said my piece. I'm not going to repeat it again now. Let's take it. Is it game time?
I can't believe how 48 minutes have gone, or 47 minutes have gone. That's just raced by.
It's like watching us play a first half of football, isn't it, Bruce? Certainly not a second half.
I think we get stronger as a podcast after the break. You used to put breaks in. Where are the breaks gone? We used to have a break. You used to.
Well, we can do a break because we've got adverts now. We're corporate whores. We like to throw them in there. Ben Bristow says, to reiterate my question, I don't think sacking Hartel would ever be the solution. Seems to be the same problem regardless of manager. What's going on in the background? Honestly, Ben, I think if you look at the players we're bringing in now, we are in a stronger position than we've ever been. The players we're bringing in have a quality. Just look at McEachran, just look at McJanet, just look at. I know people don't like Sven Thorsen, but what I've seen of him, I'm impressed. I still think he's got some way to go to becoming a leading figure, but I'm not necessarily too critical of what he's got. He's one of the best technically gifted when he gets the ball. His first touch, I think, is really, really good, though it hasn't been over the last couple of weeks. But I've seen enough in him to think that he's a half decent player. Cass, maybe. I think goalkeeper we've probably got wrong, but I don't necessarily think we are struggling too bad. I think this data approach, and if you've read that article recently that says we're now working in partnership with a company that work with Brighton and Como, it surely is only good things. I think we'll be okay. I do.
I think, and the thing you've got to bear in mind as well is that even though he's signing different players, even with an absolute fortune to spend, look at the top managers that still waste money. If we get 6 signings or 7 out of 10 signings right, that's probably a bonus, isn't it? 6 is probably a bit weak, but we're not going to get everything right, even though we're going down the right approach, and they don't at the top level. But yeah, it's just frustrating, and I think we've certainly, just a final point on the football side, we need to be more consistent, don't we?
I'm having an argument with Mark about the British Isles. The British Isles does include Ireland. Great Britain doesn't. I'll have that.
Great Britain doesn't even include Northern Ireland.
No, but the British Isles includes all of it, including Ireland. I hope that helps.
Right.
Anyway, is it game time?
Sort it out man to man.
Yeah, exactly. Come on. Right. Bruce, how are we doing this? Are you going to be judge as well?
Did nobody want to come on?
Last chance. Does anyone just drop us a quick message on Twitter or on here, and we'll we'll add you in because it'd be great to play with somebody else.
Just while we discuss, John Galis won the last competition.
Oh, Richard's in.
John won the last competition and did a runner. We haven't seen him on the podcast since. He's got the trophy still. I'm not.
He's done what I call a Nico Rosberg. He's won, knowing he could never repeat it, and therefore called it a day.
Yeah, we might as well get him out of the group now.
Get it.
I bet he's taking the trophy to the awards night. I bet he rocks up. So even if we don't win the big award, he's parading the calendar's right trophy.
I'm not talking about Formula One. That's more depressing than the than the football at the moment.
Did you watch the race, Alex?
I did. I survived it. Right. So, Richard, I've just sent you a link. Jump on. You might need your phone and come on and we'll do it. While we're doing that, did anyone see a quick interview done by one of our own, Scott, on the new investors? Any thoughts on that?
Excellent. Great to have them on board.
And Richard has just joined us. Richard, if you're confident enough, feel free to put your camera on. If not, don't feel that you need to. It is time to go to the only reason that anyone is here. It's time for Bruce's very fun game. There we go. Richard has joined us. Richard, thank you so much for joining us and being the first contestant on Bruce's patented game. How are you?
Yeah, evening, gents. I hope everyone can hear me. Long time season ticket sufferer. Went yesterday, but better to be here today.
Thank you very much. What do you do and where do you come from?
Born and bred Grimsby. I work in IT. Nice and thrilling for LHP, the social housing around here.
God, is that
do you want to buy a laptop? Right,
have we got any
go? No. Stocks are low at the moment. And
okay, well, let us know, Bruce, because my mum needs one.
We've got Samuel, age 29, from London.
Hi, Sam. What's your name and where do you come from?
I'm 25, Bruce.
Oh, sorry, yeah, tough paper round, wasn't it? Right, let's get cracking. You can go first.
My bloody subtitles changed. Sorry.
Yeah, can you mute him while I'm talking, please?
Yeah, he gets too excited, doesn't he?
Right. Here's how the game works. I will reveal Mr. November to replace Camille Conte, and then we'll start from there, higher or lower. You tell me whether your player is better or worse, but we call it higher and lower, and off we go. So, Richard, if you've got one of these calendars, then you know what's happening already. I don't. I haven't looked. Maisie shuffled the other calendars this week, and we've got rid of the duplicates. Okay. So, your man for November, your starting card is Niall Maher.
Oh, that's
are you going
quite middle range for us.
Higher or lower than Niall Maher?
So just to be clear, are we doing better or worse or more legendary? Because the rules changed halfway through last time.
You're a contestant. Shut up.
Yeah, it's just to do with me, Sam. You've got to judge me.
He was about to tell you what he was going to do before you interrupted him to tell him how to do it. Sorry, Richard, carry on.
No, I'll go lower because he had maybe one good game out of 15 for us, but I always remember he had a good old mistake in it, so I'll go worse.
No, you mean you want to go higher then, don't you?
Yes, that's true.
You think the player's going to be better than Niall
Yes,
Maher?
player's going to be better than Niall Maher. My apologies.
Right,
that's all right.
Okay. Your season is 2022.
I've got it.
Right, November.
You might be in quids in here, Richard.
November 2022. You went higher than Niall Maher, and you've got Ben Fox.
Oh, that's higher every day of the week. That's higher.
Surely.
That is higher every day of the
well
week.
Well done, Richard.
Right, okay, so we go on. Ben Fox, higher or lower than Ben Fox?
I love Ben Fox. He was a great player for us in non-league. I wish we went all out to try and keep him, but I know probably Northampton probably beat us with money, so again, next player will be worse than Ben Fox.
So we're going lower than Ben Fox. Oh, you've got 1998.
Oh, nice playing, Richard.
Well, let's have a look. November
Sandy Love.
1998. It's the gaffer, Alan Buckley. I'm afraid I don't
No, that's fair.
feel that I don't feel that I need Alex's intervention with this one. Alex, are we in agreement?
Yeah.
Alan
Alan
Buckley. Last month
if
we
they
pulled
played a
John
game of
McDermott,
five-a-side at the moment, I think Ben Fox is winning. But
but we're going Alan Buckley. Right,
Yeah.
Sam.
I can appreciate that.
Alan
Lower.
Buckley is
Lower.
We had John McDermott. Who did John McDermott trump last month, Alex? We thought we weren't lower, didn't we? And it was John McDermott. It was
Yeah.
like, oh.
I'll tell you
Right.
something as well. Given the crap we have on this, the money that we've invested in this podcast, how come Richard has better sounding microphones than Bruce and Sam does?
Right. Thank you for that. Right, you're going lower than Alan Buckley, Sam. Yeah.
I'm going lower than I'm really pushing
I
the
don't
limits.
think there is much. I think you're all
Only
right.
Alan
I think you're
Powell.
safe. Oh, hang on.
What year are we, Bruce?
We're 2019. I think you'll be fine.
Okay, should we just move on?
Oh, it's a decent one, but it's Harry Clifton, but it is
Yeah,
lower than Alan Buckley.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So you
That's
are
fine.
you are on Harry Clifton, Sam. Now this is tricky. This one. If you get a current calendar, Alex might be called into question. So you're higher or lower than Harry Clifton. We've got.
The question is, this is Alex's perception of Harry Clifton rather than my perception of
It
Harry
doesn't matter.
Clifton. So
Alex is the judge. Alex is the judge.
My
If
word is
needed.
final.
I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna go lower than Harry Clifton.
Okay, well, you've got the 2021 calendar, so you've probably
I'm
got
in
a good
business here.
chance.
You get nothing for a pair, right, Bruce?
No, nothing for a pair. This is the suspense, isn't it?
Yeah, we don't have any sort of music like that.
You've got James Tilley, who is lower
He's
than Harry Clifton.
We don't need a judge for that one.
Okay, we've got 4 calendars
Day
left.
to day, though.
We've got
Really
4
scored.
calendars. Oh no, we've got 5 calendars left. Sorry, 5 calendars left. So James Tilley, higher or lower than James Tilley?
Higher.
Higher than James Tilley. You've got 2004.
Ooh. It's Darren
Did we get
Ransom.
relegated in 2004? We did.
Yeah, 2003, 4 we did.
Yeah.
Oh, James Tilley, you've got Tony Crane. Tony Crane and I think Alex, let's
I think
involve
Tony
you.
Crane. I think Tony Crane beats him because he's got more of a legend, a mythical status in the.
I think
fan base.
I think you went. What did you go? You went higher than James Tilley or lower?
Higher, yes.
So right. So you're still playing.
Play that back on the tape,
Hey,
man.
we're getting through this. We haven't caught up yet. Right. So you're on Tony Crane.
Sam, just a
it's
reminder that Richard is a guest.
It's a bit dodgy.
So, right, see, but
Not going back at this rate.
I'm
We've
not
got
allowed
4
to win.
We've got 4 calendars, and Tony Crane is your card.
I'll tell you something. I need to find a longer bed for this music because it's only got.
I'm going to
like,
go
30 seconds.
lower than Tony Crane because there's so much chance of a really, really crap. Well, like 09.
Okay. Well, you've got 1996.
I'm out. I'm out.
You've gone lower than Tony Crane.
Lower than. As I said, if it's Andy Love, you're fine, or Jason Piercy. Why do I dislike goalkeepers?
Neil Woods.
Right.
Oh,
Okay. Fair play. I'm out.
Richard's
Okay, we're
in.
back to Richard with 3 calendars to go.
Right,
We're on
see if I can.
Neil Woods, Richard. See if you can guide yourself home.
So it's before my time. It's before I'm born, but I'm not going to get the excuses in too early. I'll go. Next player will be worse than Neil Woods.
I think you've got a fair chance. With 2020 as your calendar when you were born.
I'm sorry to put. I did see that season. Yes.
You've got Max Wright, who as lovely as Max Wright was, he's not Neil Woods.
He is,
Alex,
and he was my
agree?
brother-in-law for a time as well.
Oh, well, that's lovely, but he's not Neil Woods.
No.
Okay, so you are. He was your brother. I don't want to get involved in that. Right. So You are Max Wright,
Yeah.
this is a bit dodgy. This is a bit. I feel like you're on. It's not easy. This one. Are you higher or lower than Max Wright?
He had his moments, Max, right now. He's a wonderful person, I will say that much. But I'm going to go next player's better than Max Wright.
You've got 2001.
Oh.
I think you probably. Let's have a look.
Is this the last calendar, Bruce?
No, there's one more. And of course, if he gets it wrong, he can get all the way to the end and get it wrong, and then Sam wins by default. So
yeah,
there's some jeopardy in the game still.
Tony Gallimore. Null and void.
Tony Gallimore is higher, in my opinion, than Max Wright. He played at a better level, better player. Tony Gallimore. So you're Tony Gallimore, and you're on your final calendar. So your problem is, if it's an old calendar, then Tony Gallimore has some peers who are. If it's a newer
statistically,
calendar, then you're probably in luck.
Yeah, statistically, I don't think we've seen anything around 2009, 2010, 2011 years. So I'm going to go next player will be worse. I'm going to ride my luck a bit.
Okay, worse than Tony Gallimore. You've got 2023, last year's calendar. Is there any player in last year's squad, Alex, that could challenge Gally? Let's have a look.
Was Alan Poughton in it?
I've got it here. This is suspense for you, proper suspense. Mr. November for 2023 was Kieran Green. Alex, you can have a casting vote. Alex, Tony Gallimore or last season's Kieran Green.
Oh, it's a tough one, isn't it? No, yeah. Well done, Richard.
I think have we got a winner? Have we got a winner? Richard, congratulations.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. We'll all clap at once.
Play your calendars right. Winner for November. Can you make sure you try and come on for December to take on another one of the the groovy gang?
Richard's got winner stays on.
Bruce,
I will walk into work tomorrow with a pep in my step, and don't you worry, I'll be back in December.
He's even talking over the guests. He's even talking over the guests.
Go on, Sam, what are you going to say?
The 1st December is the first week of December is the 1st December, which is FA Cup second round week. So there's going to be no podcast that week because we've got no game.
We'll just do it the week after.
Do a special episode just for this. I'm sure the viewer figures are always higher in this portion of the episode.
They'll probably be better. They'll probably be better, to be fair.
And there we go.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming on, mate.
Richard, thank you for having me, gents. Thank you.
The third winner of Play Your Calendars Right. Thank you, Richard. We will see you in December. See you later.
Bye, mate. Something happened there.
I thought that went rather well.
It was seamless, wasn't it?
And congratulations to Richard. He's the calendar holder of the month. John has now got to pass over the trophy.
Yeah, good chance of two out to that.
Anything else we need to talk about before we go? We've done an hour. They've had their money's worth. Town is shite again. Maybe they'll be good next week. We'll find out. Any passing words to allow people to feel better for the working week, Bruce?
No, because it's Monday tomorrow, isn't it?
It is. Back half term's finished for me. I'm back to work. Very sad.
I'll have to work normally. Yeah, half term finishing means I've got to work normally.
I've got it's my appraisal tomorrow, my yearly appraisal. So I'll have to see what goes on.
You might be with Sam at the job centre soon then.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, absolutely. Has Kemi not got a role for you yet, Sam?
No, I backed the wrong horse, didn't I? So there's no role for me.
No change there then. And the youth teams, obviously, Simon Hodson doing the job that Mike would do. Congratulations to the youth team. They beat Mansfield this week. They go into the next round of the Cup, unlike the senior team who couldn't get past an old man with a pint. before we go, I've just got a little thing to say. My wife, the permanent sufferer of the podcast, without her patience, this would not happen. She is doing a knit-a-thon for Dementia UK. I will put the details in the description of the podcast if you download it, and we'll put it up on Twitter. She doesn't think anyone's going to donate to us. If you've got a couple of quid, feel free to bang it on. It'd be really appreciated. She's doing it all for Dementia UK. She's basically knitting every day. And you've already seen that sort of form scarf she's putting together of this season, which is very black and white at the moment. No red in it whatsoever. Do donate to it. It'll be really appreciated. It'll be quite fun to watch her smile and wonder where all the money's coming from, because she's only sent it around her friends and family at the moment. Anyone else?
Are you doing the same with felt?
Yeah, I'm going to ask that, Bruce. You can do some facts.
I can't even remember this date. Oh well, the felt menace that I am. Please do not get me felt. Maybe we should do a Secret Santa. Do you think we should do a Secret Santa for the pod?
It would just be like us three exchanging presents, wouldn't it?
It'd be quite funny though.
It would mean coordinating, getting all of us to Grimsby though around Christmas.
No, we just deliver the Amazon package to your house, and then you open it on the show.
We can talk about it. People don't need to hear us.
They like hearing the after bit. But thank you so much all for joining us. We will see you all next week. If you're at Wimbledon, we'll see you then as well. Have a great week, and we shall see you soon. Bye, everybody.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
I don't think I've ever wanted to be in a stand more than my life around there. They're going crazy. Hey, they got a penalty here. There'll be fish flying about there. There's no tomorrow.
What a magnificent piece of football! A really, really good goal. You can't make it straight like that.